delighted to be here. No, we're supposed to have this yesterday, but due to some circumstances that were beyond our control, we could not. So thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate your presence. If you are coming across this for the first time, please do well to subscribe, join. Bring the phone. Let me show you. Okay, so do well to join us. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. So if you're joining us today, do well to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and you'll be super glad that you're part of our live session today. I want to quickly use this opportunity to thank everybody who are joining us. Just monitor it. Don't worry. Double tap to like. All right, so thank you very much, everybody. I'm super delighted to be here. Yesterday we were supposed to have this session, but due to some circumstances that was way beyond our control, we could not be here. We understand that the Lagos factor plays an important role, and sometimes our movements are mostly unpredictable. So for some of us who have been here, I want to say a very big thank you. For those who are joining us, or for those who will still join us later, I also want to say a very big thank you as well. So today we're going to be talking about the Lagos State rental market, what important things that real estate investors need to understand, and we're going to be discussing majorly what are the major factors that determines the rental value of a property. So this is where we educate, and this is where we talk extensively everything that you real estate investors will also subscribe. Now, a lot of people have been viewing our videos. A lot of people have been taking a lot of vital lessons. They've been taking a lot of things. I've been getting calls. I've been getting good feedback. Of course, that obviously is a clear indicator that we're doing well. So I appreciate this. Thank you very much. In case you are joining us today, so I want to say just subscribe, okay, like this video, share with your friends, and let us, okay, make impact together. So today we're talking about the Lagos State rental market, and what are those key things that determines rental value of a property. Please let me have that phone, please. So what are those things? Hold this one, please. So what are those things that determines rental value, or what are those things that determines rental properties? Why? How would you know, okay, if you are getting yourself in the wrong real estate investment, and how can you pick up some important things? I was supposed to talk about due diligence today, because of some circumstances that are beyond our control, and this was obviously coming on like something that needs to be discussed. And the reason why we decided to discuss this today was due to the fact that a lot of people have been asking, similar questions, because of the fact that we've been sharing some real estate investment opportunities with our clients. So the questions I've received for some time is one of the reasons why we're having today's live session. So if you are following us, please do well to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, invite your friends and family to be part of this, because this is going to be another high hope now. If Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that you have a whole lot of things. I understand everything. Thank you very much. Do well to subscribe, and we can't wait to have you here. So on today, let's talk about what are those key things that determines rental properties, or what are those important things, and what do I need to understand if I'm choosing some important decisions for rent. Rent basically is the reason why many people are acquiring properties is simply because of return, and it's because of cash flow. And if you are investing in Lagos, you need to also to understand that it is not everywhere in Lagos, okay, that can give you the expected return. So we need to specify that. And when we're talking about the rental values, what are those important things that determines rental value? Now, these things are based on reference, they are based on experience, and of course they are based on infrastructure. A lot of people today have been asking questions. A lot of people have been talking extensively on the rental markets. I know most of people want to, be part of this rental market. A lot of people want to get, the best out of the rental market, and it's quite unfortunate that some people's expectations, some real estate investors' expectations, have not been met. And the question is, what exactly, could be the reasons why are all these things, happening? Why can't I just get, the best out of my real estate investments? Today's topic is going to be addressing that, and I'm also going to be talking about what are, the important key factors that determines rent, and what do I need to know, as a real estate, whether a first-time real estate investor or a serial or an avid investor. So do well to follow us today, and if you have questions, do well to drop your questions, and let us have the best of time. And we are going to, I can assure you that you are going to be having the very best of experience today. So let's talk about rent now. When you want to buy property in Lagos, Nigeria, I've said it before, basically is that there are a lot of things that we put into consideration whenever we're making property recommendations. And then one of such things is the rental opportunities that are there. In fact, the reason why you must buy properties is due to the fact that the rental opportunities, will put you in a position whereby you can get, the best out of it. And there are different, types of opportunities that are in our Lagos State real estate market, and these opportunities are very, very limitless. But we also need to make some important clarifications that if we don't thoroughly analyze, and assess these opportunities, a lot of people will be making mistakes, and they may not get the best out of their investments. Now, given to the fact that we have so many real estate vendors, we have so many investment specialists now, the social media has even made it very, very easy now for you to see property advert and do a lot of real estate investment. And these things basically to an extent is an advantage, and of course to a large extent is a disadvantage. And it's a disadvantage in the sense that if you don't do a critical analysis of that investment, you may not get the best out of it. So let's talk about the Lagos State rental market. What exactly are the opportunities? Can you help me reset the fan, turn it over to this place? So what are the opportunities? Just move it from there. Good. All right, thank you. So what are the opportunities that await every real estate market? The first thing basically that affects the market is demand. Now, I need to understand that if you are buying properties, you need to understand that if you are not residing in Lagos, and you want to take advantage of the Lagos State rental market, you need to understand the concept of demand. And the demand basically will expose you to the kind of expectations that you should have for such investments. Demand is very critical, because the demand of that particular location or that particular thing is going to determine how useful your property is. And the second thing you also need to understand is the lifestyle of the people. Now, lifestyle is also critical, because when it comes to rent, people have a perception of what they want their ideal home to be, and they also want to look at what should be their affordability rates, and of course the caliber of people that surrounds them. The next factor that also determines the rental opportunities is location. Now, if we're talking about location, location is the core. In fact, it is the foundation through which some of these factors that I've discussed lies upon. Because you see, you cannot talk about rent and we overlook the importance of location, because number one, location determines the nearness of the property or your rental property to places like malls, shops, supermarkets, and the likes. And you will be looking at a lot of things, that determines what determines your investment. So location is very critical. Now, when we talk about location, location basically gives your property a leverage, which is an advantage. Now, because of the fact that location is very critical, you also want to also assess, okay, the security situation of the place. And when we talk about the security situation of the place, you don't want a situation whereby you will rent your apartment in a place whereby there is what we call limited opportunity. So these things are very critical. So you want to look at that as well. So these are some of the things that you need to understand. So out of these things that I've outlined, yes, also you also want to look at the title. The title is also very critical. When we talk about the title obviously the title has to do with the document that is on that property. And now if you are in Lagos, you know very well that the Lagos states pay adequate attention, okay, to documentations, and these things are very critical. In fact, the longevity or you having access to your property, or how long your property will remain in your possession, is solely dependent on the title document that is on it. You want to look at that. So let's quickly talk about the location. And of course, I'll talk about of course, I'll relate that in contrast to the lifestyle of the people. You all know basically that when some locations are mentioned in Lagos, you also need to understand that those locations. And Mommy David, please let me call her. Tell her to give you a handkerchief. I'm sweating. I know. All right, so you want to look at that. Hey, your family handkerchief. Won't sweat. So looking at that, now when you look at the location basically talks about the caliber of people that are there, the amenities that are in that place, and the rental opportunity. In fact, amenities basically talks extensively on the types of rental opportunities that will be there. Like for instance, there was a while ago I drove past the Lekki Phase 1 axis, and I can tell you basically that I saw a place in Ikeja. Yes, that Okwebi Allen Ikeja, a 4-bedroom duplex that is being rented for 20 million per year. And there are other places too where such properties are being rented in other prices. Now, if you look at the Ikeja axis, if you look at the Okwebi axis, if you look at the Allen axis, a 4-bedroom duplex that has a swimming pool, that has a gym, that has everything, is being rented at the moment for 20 million. Now, if you come to the axis of Lekki Phase 1, the Admiralty, if you are going for an apartment, apartment is being rented for 2 million. I said, sorry, that's 2 million. It's been rented for 6 million, 7 million. If you are going for duplexes is from 7, 8 million. Now, if you are going towards the axis of Yaba, Surulere, duplexes, so we don't have more of duplexes in this axis. What we have majorly are just 1-bedroom and studio apartment. And I was quite surprised that those projects or those houses are a studio apartment basically is being rented for 800,000, 900,000. More importantly, we are in the Onike, Unilag, and of course the Bariga axis. So the question is, why do we have variation of prices of rental properties? Why do we have it cheaper in some places, and why do we have it more expensive in other places? And that's some of the things I'll be explaining today. Now, when we look at the variety of prices of rental properties, the first category or the first reasons why rental prices differs is based on the fact that people choose properties based on their preference, and of course based on their demand. Now, I've seen instances whereby a lot of people will tell me that the maximum they can go if they want to get a rental properties, okay, is Lekki Phase 1. Some will say the maximum I can go is Chevron. I'm not going beyond Chevron. And I've met some couple of people too who would also say that if they can get something around Abramade Soya, Okombo, and of course the Samgotedo axis, they're okay with it. So this basically talks about preference, and these are some of the things you want to put into consideration when you are choosing a rental properties. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me several questions that the rental opportunities, or what is the ratio, okay, of rental opportunities in Lagos and other parts of the nation. Now, I'm not saying that people don't rent properties in other parts of the Lagos, but in other parts of the states. Pardon me. Um, Now, the difference basically that Lagos State have that most places don't have is what? Preference. Now, and I've seen instances whereby some people will tell you, I can't cope, okay, with the stress of Lagos, the hustle, the bustle, the traffic, and I just want to stay in Ibadan. So, like I said, one of the things that determine rental opportunities is the investor's preference, okay? And you also know basically that whenever you're choosing a property based on reference, people choose to do it on their own personal self-beliefs and of course orientation of what they have in that place. So these are the, so what are those things that determines rental properties? Number one is the category of people that resides in that location. See, there's no way we will talk about a rental property and we won't look at the lifestyle and of course the occupation of people that are there. Now, when you're looking at the Lagos State rental market, there are some places where that is generally believed or accepted to be the 1% of the 1%. Now, whenever you are looking at the rental opportunities, you need to understand the perception of people for that location. In most cases, okay, let me quickly illustrate the fact that this basically preference is based on self-belief and more importantly is based on affordability. I've seen instances whereby some people will still choose to go to the area of, like, let's say the Bogije axis of Ibejuleki, the Awoyaya of Ibejuleki. In fact, there was a particular time I was driving past when I was coming from Ekpe, and I saw that a friend of mine that was building a house in the Aiteju axis, okay, of Ibejuleki. Of course, he built a modern room and parlor self-contained. I think he had like 8 to 10 units, and surprisingly, when we were having a chat, he told me that out of the 10 units, 6 has been rented and the house is yet to be completed. Now, a lot of people were arguing that's Ibejuleki. Why will somebody leave Lekki Phase 1, leave Shangotedo, leave other places to come and rent it? So you should understand that affordability also plays its role. Now, you don't expect people, okay, to rent houses that they will be struggling, to meet, their annual rental tenants that they need to pay, rental income that they need to remit to the owner of the house. So it's based basically on what? Affordability. It's based basically on preference. Okay, so you want to look at that. Now, I want to buy a rental property in Lagos. Where should I focus? Where should I, put my rental properties? Which area should I prioritize in your scale of preference? Let's say, for instance, your goal is to do maybe 3 or 4 rental properties before the end of 2021. A lot of people have been asking, where should I start from? Now, you need to understand basically that securing a rental property is based on demand. Now, that demand now is now dependent on the caliber of people that you want to have in your property. It is very important that it's now based on the caliber of people that you want to have in your rental. When I talk about caliber of people, you need to understand basically that there are some tenancy laws that you must understand, okay? And most times when people are doing rental properties, I've advised time to time number that it is always advisable, okay, that you allow a lawyer to handle the entire process of rent and the like. So one of the things that determines rent is based on what? Affordability. Now, talking about the caliber of people. Now, if you want to target, let's say, young couples or bachelors that are just starting, afresh, basically, one of the things you should look out for is that you should endeavor, okay, that your house or your rental properties is situated in a place where we have employment opportunities. Now, a lot of people I've met and I've interacted, with a lot of real estate investors, and some of them told me, "How will I know? I'm just a diasporan, or I've not been in this situation." In fact, there was a situation, there was, a scenario, okay, of someone who said, all these things you are listing, I don't stay in that area. So how am I supposed to look out for some of these things? Basically, I think what you need to do basically is that it is very important that you have, a detailed knowledge of the location, so that a knowledge of the locations will put you, in a vantage position whereby you can monitor and, of course, understand the rental opportunities that are there. So if I'm to do a rental investment in Lagos, I will not go to all places. I will focus majorly on the economic opportunities that are in that location. So I want to ask myself questions. How many companies do we have in those axes? How many shopping malls do we have in those axes? Then I also want to look at, okay, what is the demand rate, okay, for that axis? Now, when you're talking about, the demand rate, you also want to put across the typology of properties that is high in demand. There are some places that what does well, okay, the rental property that is high in demand is just room self-contained. In some places it's room and parlor. Then, of course, couples that are just starting up their life, some will not mind starting up with a room and parlor before they say, okay, fine, it's time for us to move into a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom. So you want to understand what the rental demand for that place states for. Okay, you want to understand the rental demand. Now, a lot of people just put up structures in anticipation that it's going to be hot cake and the like. So you want to look at what are the rental. There are some places, like for instance, now, if you are going to the Yaba axis, okay, if you are going to the Surulere axis, if you are going towards some part of Ikeja, the Oregon, the Allen Avenue, and the Murtala Mohammed Airport, from the valuation and, of course, the market research analysis that we've done, we realized that single room apartments, and, of course, self-contained, room and parlor self-contained, are high in demand in those places. Now, the reason why it is so basically is that in one of my videos, when I was talking about understanding the Lagos State rental market, I explained vividly and I said that whilst people choose, the reason why many people don't go for sophisticated rental opportunities is that most of the people that are renting properties in Lagos are landlord elsewhere. Now, when we're doing a critical market analysis of that area, we found out that there are people who are residing in Mowe, who are working in maybe Lekki, some are working in Ikeja, some are working in Victoria Island. There are people that are residing in Badagry, people that are residing in Ojuelegba axis. So most of these guys are working on the island. So if I have, and I found out that most of these people have apartments in Ibadan, some have it in Abeokuta, some have it in the Mowe axis, some have it in different parts of the nation. So renting a sophisticated apartment will definitely not want to be a priority for someone. So basically what they will just focus on, let me just have a place where I can put my head. Once I'm done from work on Friday, I can travel home, to meet my family. So it is very wrong, if you don't understand the indices of that locations, and because of that, single room apartments, room and parlor apartments are in high demand, because a lot of people said most of them, their families are in Ibadan, their families are in Mowe, so there is really no need for them to pay like 2 or 3 million to rent 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment. They will just, fine, since I have a home, I have a place where I can rent. So to them, those houses are like hostels accommodation that can accommodate them while they do their Monday to Friday job, and by weekend they go back to their family. So these are why rental opportunities in those places are limited to single rooms and room and parlor. You need to understand that. Now, if you're going towards the Unilag axis, the Bariga axis, the Yaba axis, the Surulere axis, now the reason why studio apartment and one bedroom apartment are thriving is due to the fact that those places are a student environment. And when people are choosing, students basically don't need sophisticated. In fact, I may be wrong. There was a particular time where I went to visit a friend of mine, okay, in Unilag, and of course he invited me over to his house. The funny thing basically was that this guy rented a room and parlor. Mine, he designed that house like it's like the interiors were just massive. Okay, so there are some people who love this taste of luxury, they love class. Okay, they will be fine, but what determines rental opportunities are the calibers of people and the urgent need of that area. So you want to look at that as well. Now when you now go to the places of maybe Songotedo, you want to go to the places of Ajah, the Abijo axis, the Aware axis. Some people's preference, okay, are based on two-bedroom apartment. I'm telling you where two-bedroom apartments are doing well. From Abijo, from Songotedo, down to the other places of the island. Now, some people prefer comfort, they prefer the space, and they love serenity. So that is why two-bedroom and three-bedroom apartments are doing well. Now, there are some set of people, okay, who just love that class. Now, if you should understand the reason why people choose houses in Lagos or what influenced their decision of the type of house they rent in Lagos, it's laughable and funny, okay? I spoke with a woman I was working with a while ago, and she told me basically that she cannot do anything less than a duplex. The minimum she can do is a 4-bedroom, and the maximum she can do is a 5 to 4-bedroom apartment. And I was like, wow. So you need to understand that there are some places to, okay, there are some things that influence, okay, the decision of people who are renting, those rental properties. So you want to quickly look at those things as you make, your choice of where to buy your next rent. Now, all these things I've outlined basically is actually designed, okay, to put you in a position whereby you can make an informed decisions. And a lot of people have been asking that, why do we have more of apartments than duplexes? Is it that people are not renting duplexes, or is it due to the fact that there is this? Now, you need to understand basically is that the reason why many real estate development companies resulted into building apartments is due to the cost of landed properties on the island. Now, I need to quickly explain that there was once upon a time on the island, there used to be a time whereby if you have 7 million, you can get a 600 square meter in Abijo. As at then, I said once upon a time. I met some people. I know some people that they bought 600 square meter at Songotedo for, I think, 12 million. I know some people who bought our area back then many years ago. I think around 2021, 2022. Some people bought our area for 4.5 million. And these are not just land. These are lands that have titles. We have C of O, and then we have governor's consent on some of those properties. So now, for people who bought land as at when it is cheap, okay, they can choose to build luxury houses like duplexes, mansion, masonette, those luxury, because of the fact that the cost of buying landed properties as at that time, okay, was not that kind of expensive. So you want to look at that too. But presently, right now, what the cost of buying a rental properties right now, or buying land to build that rental property has tripled. And that's why you notice that people just resorted. One of the ways that the real estate developers can maximize their landed property or get the best out of it, okay, is to build apartments. Apartment helps them to conserve space, and of course, it helps them to utilize the land so that they can get the money they spent on that. Emmanuel, please go back. This curtain is opening in the video. Go to the back. Okay, so sorry for that. So these are some of those things that determines rental properties on the island. So you really want to put that into consideration. Now, how can you get started if you're buying rental properties? What are those important things that you should put into things that you must put into consideration. I think the first thing I'm going is the topography. Okay, it's okay, thank you. I want to look at the topography, and the reason why topography is due to the fact that we cannot talk about renting and not talk extensively on the impact of flooding. Flooding basically is a major concern, okay? And if I'm looking at topography, I want to look extensively on the nature of the road, and of course I also want to look at the basic infrastructures to reduce the impending impact of flooding. I know a lot of people today don't put that into consideration, but the truth of the matter is that there's some places in Lagos that is always flooded, whether it is short-time rain or a long-time rain. The second thing I'm also going to put into consideration whenever I'm choosing rental properties is the accessibility of the place. I would definitely put accessibility as a top-notch priority. And the reason why I'm saying that is due to the fact that there are some places you will rent today, and after several years of staying in that axis, your car will be frequently visiting the mechanic. And the reason why I'm saying this is due to the fact that there are a lot of things that people don't put into consideration whenever they are choosing this. So accessibility, the accessibility talks about the state of the road, and the most important thing basically is how frequent is the road being maintained. So I will put that into consideration. Number two is I'm also going to look at infrastructures that are in that vicinity. Infrastructure in the sense that I want to look at the number of supermarkets they have there. I want to look at the number of shopping malls that they have there. Though to some people, it's not a priority. You know, like I said at the commencement of this video, everybody's intention for investing differs. Some people just feel like, okay, let me have this sense of belonging. Let me just have something, you know, in my country that every time I'm around, I can use it, okay? Now, some people will say that one of my checklists that must be totally, you know, affirmed to when I'm choosing rental property is what? Is infrastructures. I want a place where we have malls, where we have supermarkets, where we have cinemas. So, like I said, people's preference for rental properties differs. So you want to look at that. Then the next thing I'm also going to look at is the security of the place. Security is very, very great. I think I gave an instance of a place where I went to and a car was vandalized. That experience can be so horrifying and but let's say traumatic. No, it's not, but it can be a horrifying experience. Waking up and part of your cars have been, you know, tampered with. And another thing, basically, apart from security, is that you also need to find out if some traditional rites are still being, you know, practiced. There are some places of Ibeju-Lekki that they still practice the Oro festival. This is also done in some places in Ikorodu, and you want to confirm how frequent these things are being done so that you can program your movement and you don't fall into the hands of people that may be practicing that. So traditions are also very, very crucial, and some of those things. So the question is, why should I get involved in the Lagos State rental market? Okay, I think that's the next question I'll be going into now. Why should I get myself involved in the Lagos State rental market? I'll start by saying, sorry. So I'll start by saying, if you are this kind of person who understands that real estate is the future, if you are this kind of person who is probably convinced, okay, that having something sustainable is the best. It's not a debate of should I or should I not. It's a debate of how soon do you want to invest. Now, it's quite alarming and sometimes I'll say scary at the rates through which the cost of things are skyrocketing. Now, this obviously is not done to discourage you in any form. No, the aim of this video is certainly not to discourage you, but the aim of this video is to understand that there's no way you will talk about the rental markets, okay, in Africa, that Lagos State will, if Lagos is not number one, Lagos State cannot be less than 4. Now look at the price of properties. Look at Lekki Phase 1. I got a property for an investor who bought Lekki Phase 1 far back in 2020. I can recall how we, appeal to the woman. Man, buy this property. Lekki is a highbrow area. The demand for rental properties in Lekki. She reluctantly bought 2-bedroom. I think she got 2-bedroom for around 50-something million far back in 2020, around late 2020, early 2021. She bought. Today, as I'm talking to you right now, if you don't have 130 million, 125 million in that same Lekki, you can't buy a 2-bedroom. I'm talking about apartment though. More importantly, the situation is even worse if it's an off-plan. So the cost, now the rate at which properties are appreciating in Lagos, you cannot compare the appreciation rate of real estate in Lagos to other states across the nation. Apologies, I'm not trying to undermine or demonetize, okay, other regions. I'm saying that I've been practicing real estate in Lagos for close to 8 years now, and even some of the properties we've sold, when I went back to check the prices, sometimes I wish I was the one that bought it. Now, so in terms of appreciation, the Lagos State real estate market rewards people who invest. That's just a fact. So it's not a case of I don't have money or I'm not interested. It's a case of, do you want to be rich? Do you want to have something that can give you rest? The desire for some of the people I've met and the people I've interacted with, their ultimate desire is to have their own property in Lagos. See, if you are a landlord in Lagos, even if it's just 1-bedroom apartment, it's like you are a landlord of the world. Now, the reason why I'm saying this basically is that the infrastructural developments and the employment and economic opportunities that Lagos State real estate investment provides cannot be underestimated, neither can it be overemphasized. In fact, Lagos State real estate market is like a pot of gold that is being given. So what you now do with it basically is now based, okay, on your own perception, and like I said at the commencement of this video, your own preference as well. But is Lagos State profitable? It's not a case of whether Lagos State is profitable or not. There is a prediction, okay, that by 2030, the middle class will not be able to afford property in Lagos. Economists have shown us from the indices of inflation, the indices of building materials, the indices on the quality of architecture that is being done in Lagos. The demand for rental properties in Lagos is alarming. Now, I know basically a lot of people might say that because of the economic situations that the nation is going, many people are leaving the country. Let me tell you, most of the people that are leaving are going to work so they can have a property in Lagos. So the thing basically is that Lagos is still the headquarter of every real estate activities across Nigeria. So if you are a property owner in Lagos, in as much as fact that you have the property in your possession, you have the property under your care, and you are managing the property the way it should, trust me, you are made forever. You can buy a house today in Lagos for 40 million, and within the space of 4 to 6 months, someone is pricing that same house for 40 million, for 80 to 90 million. It shows how profitable the Lagos State. I don't know about other locations, but trust me, I'm going to explore other locations. I'm going to, do my research and do a comparative analysis. So I would say that Lagos State real estate investment is a pot of gold. It's a gold mine. So it's a question of, do you want to join those who are reaping the gold of Lagos? See, it's quite unfortunate. There was a particular time someone drove me to some acres of land that the person had in the Ayiteju axis of Ibeju-Lekki, and this particular investor told me that during his own heydays when he was agile, he bought, I think, 30 plots at the Ayiteju. It's not so far from where Macarius Luxury is, and this man owns just 30 plots there. And so he said he wanted us to help him get a buyer. So we started doing the due diligence, to check, and we've actually got a buyer for that property. Although it was another real estate agency but we worked in collaboration with that agency. Now let me tell you what happened. For you to prepare a contract of sales, a deed of assignment that would transfer the ownership of that property, okay, from the owner to the seller, some documents will be required from the owner, and one of those things is the purchase receipt. On the purchase, on the deed of the former contract of sale the owner did. On the deed, we found out that this man bought one plot, okay, as at the time he bought, I think he bought it around 1996. He bought one for 100,000 per plot. By the time he sold it to a real estate developer anyway. By the time he sold it per plot for 15 million. This was not a recent transaction, it was quite a while. It was like, I think, last year. Now, if the man had known, okay, was it last year? Somewhere around last year. If the man had known, okay, that the Lekki-Epe expressway that was recently constructed would be done as at that time, I'm sure he would not have sell it. He sold it. He wouldn't have sold it. So he sold it. Imagine 100,000 to 10 million. That is what the Lagos State real estate market, because you see, it's not just that the demands are there. There are sometimes that the demand we have outweigh what we have. I'm telling you. So whether you have chosen to invest in Lagos or not, it's your own. Like I said, it's based on preference. I've interacted with a lot of people who have constantly reminded me of the fact that I don't want to face that hustle and bustle. I just want a place, just get me somewhere cool in Ibadan. Preference. I've interacted with people. Someone say, okay, if I can get somewhere around that Ibarra housing estate in Abeokuta. Preference. I've seen people say, okay, for me, Omowo is okay. I want to be close to the region so that when we are going for Holy Ghost meetings, I can go. Preference. So it's about preference. But you see, that is how valuable. That is how I would say how profitable. See, the Lagos real estate market gives insane return on investment. What you will get on your property will just be unimaginable. That's just a fact. To be unimaginable. Very, very imaginable. So the man bought for 100,000 per plot far back in 1996, and several years after, he sold for 10 million per plot. That means he made a gain of 9.9 million per plot. That is how profitable. Now, the thing is that if he had waited earlier, he would have been making a lot of money. He would have even times or quadruple, the return he made. So you don't, like, when it comes to Lagos State real estate investment, I don't do a lot of I don't need to pacify you. Okay, sometimes when I'm dealing with real estate investors, when some people give biased assessment of the Lagos real estate market, I've told them several times that, well, that's your own opinion and obviously you are entitled to it. But the most important thing is that you cannot make a decision if you are not aware of what the rental indices are showing in Lagos. So you obviously want to look at that and put it into consideration. This is how profitable, how demanding the Lagos State rental market is. So the opportunities are endless. Like for instance, in 2022, there was a project that was sold in Abidjan GRA, which was the Avocado Smart duplexes. So it's sold out now. Then how much was Avocado? I think when they started it was around 34 point something million. Then I think it got sold out at, did it even get to 40 or 45? I can't remember. But it was around 30 something point 4 to, let's just say, 40 million. I know somebody that recently bought that same Avocado duplex in Abidjan GRA for 80 million. 80 million in just 1 year plus. So, and the thing is, what have you now imagined what Lagos City real estate market will be? This is just 2024. What will happen in 2024? Now they're already selling 2-bedroom apartments in Lekki Phase 1 for 125, 130, in some places 140 million. Imagine what it will become 2025, 2026, 2027. So the thing is, in as much as fact that you are interested in making returns, or your goal is to become a landlord in Lagos, let me say this: the longer you wait to invest in Lagos, the more disadvantaged you are. Because you see, yesterday's price will certainly not be today's price. Look at the indices of inflation, look at the indices of what is happening. So the longer you wait, the more disadvantaged you are. And the prices are going up. Now, a lot of people are asking that, how can you tell me the property they sold for 40 million is now 100 million? What are the indices that is being used to judge? You know, people like to speak grammar. So what are those indices? What are those parameters? What are those indicators? Let me tell you, the indices, the parameter is what? The demand and the population. See, the population of Lagos is growing, and in as far that the population is growing at an unimaginable rate, so will the demand for rental properties begin to skyrocket. I'm telling you, that is the fact and the reality of what you need to understand. This is just Lekki. There was a particular time that we used to buy 2-bedroom back then in Yaba for how much? 41 million, 42 million today. 2-bedroom in Yaba right now is 62 million. In some places 60. If the developer is fair, 55 million. So I know what makes the Lagos State real estate market even more demanding, based on the fact that there is no regulatory body determining price. That's just a fact. So you can choose to buy for 50. A developer can tell you, okay, fine, I want to sell this my apartment for 50 million. I'm giving you from this social price, okay, to this social price, to either make up your mind, invest now. Now, the moment you did not, okay, meet up that time that the developer has given you, you can, you can come back, okay, and the real estate developer will tell you, well, this was the time I gave for the grace for that price. This is the price I'm saying. See, it is abroad. You can say, okay, fine, let me report to the appropriate authorities. Let me do. In Nigeria, nothing like that. Oh. If I know they sell, I know they sell. For Nigeria, there's no police that will definitely say they want to arrest. So the fact that the price regulation for Lagos, as maybe in the future, okay, the price regulation can be set. Now, a lot of people have been asking, okay, why are government agencies not regulating price? Okay, why is Lagos State government not checkmating the kind of prices? What is going on? Now, I'll tell you why. Some government agencies are profiting from non-regulations. So the moment you ask them to regulate price, that means you don't want them to profit, because most of these guys are paying taxes. Most of these real estate companies are paying taxes. Most of these real estate companies, to even get approvals, to get the necessary documents, you are paying a whole lot. So some of the money that Lagos State government receives from surveys, preparing of surveys, doing layout approval, fencing permits, these are revenues to Lagos State government. Do you understand? So at this moment, it pays them, okay, not to regulate. And that's why sometimes a developer can just wake up and tell you, my 2-bedroom now has increased from 45 to 60 million. Nobody will ask them question. It's their property, they are free. And the reason why that is often happening basically is due to the fact that inflation is not helping matters. So I'll be going fully, okay, into how to start real estate development in Lagos. It's going to be an eye-opening experience. Obviously, it's going to be one of my recorded video. I'm not going to do that live. So I'm going to be talking about that. So by the time you begin to look at what these guys are making, selling those properties from you, then you understand the reason why Lagos State real estate market still remains the headquarters of real estate activities in Nigeria. So that is why sometimes the priority to own a property in Lagos is always high compared to other places. Some people will tell you, I can't afford to rent in Lagos, so let me just do maybe a mini apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment or a single room apartment. I have my house in Ibadan, so whenever I'm done with my weekly activities, I'll go and meet my family. I have my house in Mowe. Some will say I have my house in Badagry. The most important thing basically is that it shows how the Lagos State market is profitable. So it's not a question. Now the question is, should I invest? If you want to be rich in the future, invest. If you don't want to change your level, like you're not tired of the level you had, then don't invest. That's just the reality of the Lagos State rental market. And the reason why I'm saying this is based on the fact that if we don't analyze some of these indices and give explanations like this, a lot of people will not understand that if you don't own property, it doesn't matter wherever you have properties, okay, whether it is Mowe, whether it is Ibadan, whether it is Ilorin, other parts. If you don't have property in Lagos, as far as real estate investment is concerned, you have not arrived. Of course, that's a general perception that some people have, but do I support such perception? Well, that is also obviously dependent on your own conclusion, okay? So that is it about, should I invest in Lagos? See, Lagos is a gold mine. I'll just tell you the fact. Nobody is regulating price. So I can wake up tomorrow and say, the 2 plots of land I have behind my house, I bought it, maybe let's say I bought it 1 million and I want to sell it 6 million. Nobody will ask me. In fact, you will even see some people fighting themselves over it. I want to buy. So it shows, okay, how profitable the Lagos State industry is. It is. Why do you think, despite the fact that people, let me just tell you the truth, the reality of what you need to know. You see all those real estate developers that are going to sell land banking in Ibadan, those that are going to Ijebu-Ode, those that are going to, they will say Ikorodu. It's not Ikorodu, it's Ogun State. It's a boundary. In fact, most of those places are Ogun State. Most of those companies that are selling all those land banking, buy 5, get 1 6, buy 1 acre for 5 million, buy 1 acre, you should know basically that they are not in Lagos, number one. And for those ones that are very sincere, they will tell you. Now, the intention of selling those properties, most of those 10 acres, 20 acres, 15 acres, some people would go to Ogun State, they will buy 100 acres, they'll be happy. They'll say they've hit jackpot. Now, let me tell you what is happening. What those real estate developers are doing is that they are using those lands, okay, to raise funds so that they can do building projects in Lagos. So in some places, those artists are seen, okay, as a place where they can where they can raise funds and do bigger things. So that it shows how important. Look at Banana Island, for instance. Look at what's going on in Banana Island. Manana right now is a place whereby those things, those places. Okay, I have a question. Okay, okay, I have a question. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, okay, this is the personal question. So that shows how relevant those places are. Okay, so these are some of those questions. Products you sell, okay, to raise funds to do something bigger. So that's what the Monia, the saying, the Ogun States, that's what they so they are using it to raise funds and start building projects because they know that if you have building projects in Lagos, you have hit gold. You have certainly hit gold, and that that is happening in Lagos. So these are part of the things. So I'm going to take questions. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the questions. So let me have your questions. We'll be rounding off now very quickly. We'll be rounding off. For everybody that have joined us, I want to say a very big thank you. I appreciate everything that has been done. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate this. If you have questions, you can answer questions. So this is where I'm going to be dropping today's live session. If you have questions, you can do well to drop it. If you don't, one thing we do basically, please, if you have followed this video to this extent, endeavor to subscribe. Please subscribe. Help us reach more people. Help us grow. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that have joined us on today's live. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about the types of due diligence you should do. Today I've explained extensively, okay, on the opportunities that are in the Lagos State real estate market. There are risks as well. So tomorrow we'll be discussing the risk and how you can uncover the risk doing due diligence. So tomorrow I'll be talking extensively on the types of due diligence and some of those things that are there. So these are some of the things that are very, very critical about it. So there's usually nothing to worry about. In case you are doing any form of real estate, housing, land investment, any kind of investment, of course, you can also call us. We can help you get the best out of it. So I want to appreciate everybody that can that has followed us. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Tomorrow, you don't want to miss tomorrow's session. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the risk in the Lagos real estate market, so and how you can uncover those risks. I'm explaining it. I'll be giving a step-by-step approach, practical approaches as well. And trust me, you are going to have a very, very splendid time. Thank you very much for everybody that have joined us. See you guys by tomorrow. God bless you. So I'll be taking questions by tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye for now.